Well, let's see. We ended our last day in an office at the last company and started our first day in was it my?
It was your living room.
My living room.
We were at your dining room table, actually, if you want to be specific.
With my dog over on the side.
Yes, Pika laid on my feet most of the day. It was awesome. It was a really good meeting.
And in that moment, you go, this is amazing. And then like 4 or 5 weeks later, you go, oh my gosh, I'm not sure if this was what we wanted to have happen.
What are we actually doing here? Exactly. Okay, cool. This is happening.
Welcome to another episode of Inspired By, where we have casual conversations with creatives to hear all about what they do that makes them tick and how their creativity can inspire us. I am your host today, Caroline Johns, joined with my co-host, Coral Davids.
Hello.
We're excited to turn the tables on y'all today and interview you guys and talk about all things 10 years at Clementine.
Uh-oh. Yay.
So for today's episode, for users out there, you can expect to hear and experience a casual Q&A with Clementine's co-founders, Jennifer and Merissa, where Coral and I will ask them all the things you've ever wondered about Clementine, what inspired them to embark upon becoming business owners.
Oh boy.
But first and foremost, right, we have
There's some pressure on this side of the table. Can I just say, I don't know.
I was going to say, we got some awesome cocktails here that our lovely Merissa created. And go ahead, introduce it. Let us know what you made here.
So today we have a cinnamon apple sparkler. It is a concoction with apple cider and some cinnamon. This is a smoked cinnamon as well.
Ooh, lovely.
And we've got some maple and some bourbon. And by the way, if you haven't tried this, the recipe is on our reels on Instagram, so check us out. And I'm excited to try it.
I know, I've been waiting anxiously, so let's get to this.
So can we cheer?
Yes, cheers.
Cheers.
Who needs that anymore?
Cheers, ladies.
Cheers all the way.
Across the table.
All right.
Enjoy.
All right.
I will enjoy my non-alcoholic beverage.
Very good.
I hope you enjoy it.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, it's tasty.
That's very good.
Gets us in the fall mood.
Yeah.
October.
So going off of the cinnamon sparkler here, this kind of really well ties into our first question.
Uh-oh.
So, what was the spark for Clementine Creative? And, when did Clementine come into fruition? What kind of really, sparked you guys to create this company? And give us all the deets.
You want to start?
Well, I guess I can start. So 10 years ago, Merissa and I were working together for a home builder here in Atlanta in a corporate sort of marketing department. I was the VP of marketing. She was our art director. And we were kind of at an inflection point, let's say, with the company that we were working for currently. And that company was going through some changes. And we had started to really explore kind of a creative process around branding and placemaking and things like that in the home building world. And I think that's kind of how the idea of Clementine kicked off as a, thought, since things are kind of changing here, maybe we'll just take this show on the road. Is that how you remember it?
Yes, something like that. Except, yeah, I was excited about the idea of working with other brands and other companies. As a creative person, it can get kind of monotonous to do the same thing all the time. And so for me, I felt like, oh, this is a really great opportunity to kind of expand our horizons. Granted, we'll still stay in the home building industry, and we do really well at that, and I really enjoy it. I mean, I enjoyed getting to do all of this placemaking and all of that. That was really exciting work, and I wanted to do more of it. So to really jump off of that and build our own company gave us the opportunity to expand our services to not only other brands, but to be able to do more of what we really enjoyed doing.
Yeah, I think the big takeaway really was that, that we learned from that creative process we were going through was that we had skills that seemed to complement one another very well. Merissa obviously is an amazing creative talent. I've always worked more on the strategy side and the writing side, and she brought the visuals, and we worked together on those projects, and it became clear that this is kind of there was a lot of resonance to that process, and thought well, we could do this with a lot of things.
You're the yin to my yang.
Aw, that's so sweet.
So kind of going off of that too, I mean, Clementine Creative Agency, where do we get the inspiration for the name? How do we go about finding that? What really gave you the
You get
spark
to tell
there?
this one.
So we struggled a bit on the name for a little while, thinking through a bunch of different things and options, and we wanted something that was fresh, felt creative, felt juicy, if you will. And we started going off of a color theme. We went down these color roads, and in case you can't tell from our branding,
I was saying we're about to get into that with the color and the logo and
both Jennifer and I really love the color teal. So we thought, oh, what can we make out of that color? Like, is there anything that can be inspired off of that?
The answer is no.
The answer is no. So we looked at different languages. What is teal in, Spanish or French? And it's not worthy.
Yeah.
So,
It did not work.
so we went back to the drawing board like a bunch of times, it felt like, and started playing off of the idea of colors. And then we said, well, if we were to do the brand with a teal, what other colors would we utilize with that still feel kind of modern and fresh? And so we ended up coming up with orange. And what colors what names can we come up with that feel fresh and all of that? And I think we left that meeting with absolutely no answer. And we were, again, back to the drawing board.
It was a series of meetings with absolutely no answer.
Yeah. And then it was maybe a day later, I think, and I texted her and said, Clementine Creative.
Yes.
And she said, that's exactly, I was just thinking the same thing, like just a couple minutes ago. So, when that happens, like it's meant to be, and that's the name. And it felt really fresh, but kind of rooted in Georgia as well. Like it feels there's a little southern tinge to it. It's kind of sweet. You've got Oh My Darling and all of the creative juices flowing, so it all worked together.
Seeds of inspiration,
There
all
you
those
go.
things. Yeah, once we landed there, then
it just kind of blossomed.
everything
Yeah.
just kind of blossomed. And that was, I think, how we knew it really was going to go. We're like, oh, good, we finally got something we could work with.
Yep.
But we did build a fantastic color vocabulary exploring all of the various iterations before we got there.
Would you say then too, so kind of, we're very well known for our teal and our orange and also for our logo. So kind of give us the inspiration behind the logo. For those who have seen it, we know it's the circle, little, seed inside. So kind of give us that creativity and creative thought behind that.
Sure, yeah. So the logo, I didn't want it to feel so literal.
Yeah.
Because to me, an iconic logo shouldn't be fully literal. It should have accents and things that lead you to or inspired by, but not necessarily directly related. So I did want something iconic as well that you could use on its own. So I developed the circle for the outside for the orange, and then 3 individual seeds, and those were the seeds of inspiration. And so you kind of take it, kind of take the seeds from the inside of an orange, take 3 of them off, and then just drop them down to the bottom so they're seeded. And it really felt balanced and, speaks all to creativity and inspiration and all of the different facets and services that we offered specifically when we started.
We'll tell the people, do the 3 seeds have names or meanings, or just 3 seeds?
Ooh, do they have names or meanings?
Not-
They were based on the services when we started, I believe.
Yeah.
We've definitely expanded from there.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
10 seeds.
We sort of outgrew
Yeah.
that. We don't have room for all of the seeds we need to cram in there now. But they were more symbolic than having specific names or meanings, I guess.
So kind of too, for anyone who's thinking about starting their own business, I mean, you kind of always hear obstacles, right, that take place, or those moments of like, man, did we make the wrong choice, or like, what did we get ourselves into? So did you kind of have any of those, big moments at the beginning that kind of, put a halt on things or made you question, and how did you kind of overcome that?
Well, let's see. We ended our last day in an office at the last company and started our first day in, was it my?
It was your living room.
My
we
living
were in
room.
We were at your dining room table, actually,
Yeah.
if you want to be specific.
With my dog over on the side.
Yes, Pika
pawing
laid
at
on my
me.
feet most of the day. It was awesome. It was a really good meeting.
And in that moment,
yeah.
you go, this is amazing. And then, like, 4 or 5 weeks later, you go, oh my gosh, I'm not sure if this was what we wanted to have happen the whole time.
What are we actually doing here?
Exactly. Okay, cool. This is happening. Yeah. I mean, I think we, we went into it with a business plan, because we're
I was gonna say, I wouldn't doubt
those
that.
kind of people.
Risk
So
averse, yeah.
We had a documented business plan going into it, and we were fortunate in that we were able to transition out of the company that we were working for, and actually take them on as one of our first clients for contract work.
That's awesome.
So there was a little bit of a bridge there that kind of helped us get started. But I would say, and I don't know if you agree with this, but I think there have been many of those, like every big sort of inflection point along the way, especially like when we moved into the office, or when we hired the first person other than the two of us, or things like that.
Or when we moved into this huge space and went, how are we going to fill it out?
Always go, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? And then it
all seemed to work out pretty well.
It's working so far.
We're goldfish in an aquarium. You just grow.
Yeah, you just grow into to fill the aspirations.
It's intentional,
that
right?
You
You just
out
keep
there.
setting bigger spaces to fill them.
Sure.
Smart.
I mean, the thing about having a business plan, which is wonderful and frightening, is that things look great on paper. And so you go down this path and say, like, okay, well, we've worked all of this out, and this all makes sense, and this is how this should work. And then you get to the point of, like, actually putting pen to paper, or, taking the keys to an office, or putting out a job rec, and you go, oh, really? Okay. Okay, we're going to do this.
This is a lot more responsibility than it was yesterday.
We're going to have faith that this is going to go at least somewhat to plan. But I think you just have to adapt along the way. Nothing ever rolls out exactly the way you expect it to.
Yeah, but I think we've been very strategic about all of the moves that we've made, and trying to, as we grow, we try to grow smart instead of haphazardly, to make sure that we're making the right moves at the right time and not overdoing it.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you say, just like kind of having this discussion here, like what were some of the main things that you thought about, prior to, in terms of strategy? Like, did you have a set, like, this needs to happen, or, what were those kind of like set plans that you're really like aiming to achieve, and were there any that like didn't happen and you're like, okay, how do we kind of pivot from this?
Like, COVID happened.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
I think we had a lot of, as Merissa said, we tried to be very strategic. We tried to be very intentional about the path that we took. I think another reason, in addition to complementary skills, another reason that we have worked so well as a partnership, if you don't mind my saying so, but I think we come from a very similar place in terms of risk tolerance, in terms of values, and the way that we want to run an organization or participate in an organization, or with a brand. So we come from kind of a common foundation there, which I think was a strength, because we were always really well aligned about what we wanted to happen next. I think most of the plans that we laid out did come to fruition, but not necessarily on the timetable that they were initially planned.
Yeah.
Because things happen, and you have to deal with the overall economy and the market. We had to deal with COVID. Nobody expected that to take a year and a half out of everyone's life, and so you had to kind of adapt along the way. But most of those steps kind of worked out. Some of them took a little longer to get there than.
Well, life has a
we
funny way
initially
of
thought.
changing your plans.
Yeah.
So life gets involved, and you got to pivot and pivot and pivot again. So you have to really be kind of flexible and understand that it's almost never going to go exactly how you planned it. Just you got to keep trudging forward and make those smart decisions along the way to keep yourself headed back in the direction that you're wanting to go.
Yeah, I think knowing what your goal is, ultimately, that you're, having a really strong eye on the goal, and a really strong eye on those sort of, I say values for lack of a better term, but, the way that you want to get there. Then if you have to kind of weave around a little bit along the way, as long as you can keep those two things kind of, in sight, then usually you land somewhere close to where you want to.
So would you ever say then to anybody who, is looking to start a business together or partnership, if you ever run into those disagreements, or, kind of see things differently, how did you guys kind of overcome that obstacle, or what advice would you give for anybody who's kind of in that space?
Yeah.
Marissa and I never disagree.
I didn't think so, but I was like, they always got some good advice up their sleeve.
Yeah, I take
Like,
a
let's get the
50-50.
truth here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would say we're so well paired, and I've thought this before,
Yeah.
so I'm not just saying it. But there are a lot
She's
of
not just saying it because I'm sitting here.
Yeah,
But
if she wasn't.
there are a lot of like big business decisions that you have to make,
Yeah.
and we've been very well paired in our thought process to getting there. Even if, initially we start in a different place or slightly different place, and we may finish in a slightly different place, but we communicate about it. And why do you think that? And how did you get there? And what are you really thinking about this way? Or what if we did it this way? And we kind of map things out and we talk things out. And like really good, strong communication allows us to get to the place that we're trying to go, and get to the decision that we're trying to make, even if we started out not having an opinion at all.
Yeah.
Either of us. Like, we take that path. And
I feel like that's good advice too for just anyone, right? Like business partners, but
I
I
was
mean
gonna say,
friendships,
I think it's
relationships.
like any relationship,
yeah.
communication is very important, and then some level of mutual
Understanding.
respect.
Yeah.
I think is really important, that you have that mutual respect,
Yeah.
that we I think value one another's opinions on things. Like you said, we see different routes to the same goal sometimes, and to be able to have those equally valued and considered, and be able to communicate openly about that, I think allows us to lean into one another's strengths depending on what the scenario is.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Good advice. So, kind of drawing back into Clementine, when you think about year one and where you are now, 10 years later, what are some of like the biggest milestones that you're most proud of? I mean, there's a lot.
There are
a lot.
Yeah, there are a lot. It's funny, I think, and we've been doing all of this 10-year anniversary work.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking a lot about, like, what are those milestones along the way, and what did we really envision from the beginning? Like, if we had sat down 10 years ago in your living room, in your dining room with Pika, and kind of like drawn this up, would we have drawn this? And I think the answer is no.
Right.
But I think, that's been a happy product of the process of life and learning and experience. So it's hard to pinpoint one milestone, because I feel like there've been like so many twists and turns along the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
so I would say when we sat down first day, we had slightly different intentions for the business and for why we did it. But we're both incredibly ambitious people. And ambition will
Take you places, far places,
Yeah.
10-year later places.
it will keep you from holding back.
Yeah.
And I think we would be in a very different place if we weren't as ambitious and didn't want to constantly strive for the next milestone or the next success marker or the next, big thing, whatever that might be. So when we started, I don't think we ever thought we would have employees.
Yeah, I was going to say, so let me ask, talking about milestones, like what was that first milestone that you guys wanted to achieve?
Yeah.
That was the one I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
And I don't think we
employees,
ever
maybe?
sat down and said, like, oh, we're going to build a team
Right.
of X, Y, and Z
Yeah.
people. We kind of thought it was like the two of us, and we were taking our show on the road, and we were going to do more.
Almost
of
like consulting,
Yeah, yeah.
But I think one of the things about, I think anytime you're a business owner, probably, but particularly early on in your life as a business owner, is you get this sort of feeling of never wanting to miss an opportunity, right? And as a result, you say yes to a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so before too long, we found ourselves having said yes to a lot of things. And there were two of us, and we were doing, branding, and we were doing creative work, and I used to manage social accounts. I was our
See, that's why she's
social
so good
media
at Reels,
manager,
right?
and
She
yeah.
tried to act like she wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, you're staying
yes,
on
you've
here.
seen my handiwork. And we took on a lot of almost like full service marketing accounts. Whereas I think we were more initially focused on the creative side. But it just, kind of snowballed on its own to the point where you go, okay, well, if this is what we're doing,
Yeah.
then
Let's go full steam ahead.
somebody else has got to be here to do this because I'm not a social media manager.
Hey, that's why I'm
As
here
you
now.
can attest. As you can attest. And social media was our
Thanks for
first
that.
big. I'm here for you.
Employment,
Here
right?
for you. That was our first big step out. That was the first employee that we hired, was to manage social media, because that was a need that we were hearing from so many people, and we were too ambitious, I think, to say, no, we don't do
we're
that.
good.
We don't do that.
Well, let me ask too then, I mean, now that we're kind of at this 10-year mark, do you feel like the ambition ever stops?
No.
No.
It's like, do you still keep saying yes, or are we kind of like, okay, we feel semi-safe?
I know, and I know
like,
that the team doesn't want to hear this.
full steam ahead.
We still got all this ambition.
Yeah.
Goals, man. We have so many.
Well, speaking of that too, I mean, just kind of like looking at how much you guys have grown. So let us know, when you first started, I mean, you said you signed on with one client, which kind of helped bridge the gap. But I mean, how many clients did you really start out with in that first year, and where are you guys at now?
Well, we had three clients
Yeah.
on.
Maybe they were the 3 seats of it.
That's what was in the logo.
We figured it out.
We had 3 clients on day one.
Which was a blessing, and
Yeah,
most people are not that.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
tremendous bridge for us to be able to get things started and get our feet under us and figure out what we were doing, and try to make that work. So we had 3 to start with. I don't know that we ever envisioned how far that would expand.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you think about goals, I think, up to a certain point, there was growth, and putting on more clients on roster and more accounts and more whatever. And then I think there's a turning point where it does become a little bit more about the kind of project, the kind of work that you want to do, the level of work that you want to do. So maybe that's good news for the team. I don't know. The ambition, I think, has shifted a little bit over time in terms of what represents the kind of growth that you want to have. Is that accurate?
Yep.
So I know we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier in terms of, your past job and kind of what brought you here into creating Clementine, but we kind of touched on the strengths, right, of each other. So how does that really complement here in this position, and, how do you feel like that just keeps adding years to Clementine?
Oh, let's see. How we complement each other?
Like, what are some good strengths that you would say, have really allowed you guys to grow to this point?
Well, Jennifer is amazing at strategy
Aw.
and writing, and you can have that.
Yeah, like, I don't want it.
I'm fine. I'm good with my computer and my, pencil and drawing out some sketches, and so I think that we recognize each other's strengths.
Yeah.
And we allow each other the space to do
Operate
what
that.
we do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And to do that well. I do think that there's something to be said for, we are experts in what we do, and we trust each other's expertise in what we do, and we want our clients to trust us and our expertise in what we do for them. So I think all of that kind of comes full circle, and we trust our team to be experts in what they do.
Yeah.
So it all kind of, everything aligns, and it's all very collaborative, because what her strengths support my abilities and vice versa. So together we're able to create amazing brands and amazing things that alone, I'd be missing parts of this.
Yeah.
And
I would
You're-
definitely be missing parts of this.
She's
you're
like,
better
"Won't
than
speak
you
for you."
think at designing.
I like
But-
words a lot more than most people do. No, I do think that there's something that's unique in terms of the overlap there. Like, I totally agree with you. I think you have such amazing creative talent, but also, I know enough about design to be dangerous, right? I've worked with a lot of designers over the course of my career. I've worked with a lot of creatives, so I have enough of a sense of what is good, or how to present something, or how to kind of help interpret what a client is asking for. And I think Merissa is, so strong creatively, but has a more strategic mind than most other designers and creatives I've worked for. I think you think about things very strategically. You there's a reason behind that. And so I think there's like just enough overlap in the center there for us to be able to communicate really well back and forth and sort of tie the two together in a really cohesive way. That is harder to do when you have two people kind of moving completely down parallel tracks and you don't have that connection point. Because I think a lot of creatives are not by nature strategic or, more practical in terms of how this will be applied or, what the client wants or needs. So, I've always seen that as kind of something that's unique and I think is really strong here.
I think it was kind of interesting hearing you talk about like setting the standard for expertise. So it's like for any new, business or anyone like kind of looking to establish themselves. I mean, what advice do you give to show your expertise when you're just getting started? Because like,
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
Yeah, it was. I was thinking that when you were talking, I was like, huh.
Yeah.
If I were to start tomorrow, like, what would you say?
You're not going anywhere. That's what I would say.
Yeah, wait a second. I would say, come to Clementine and be like, that's tough. So I think my advice is, one, be serious about what you do and approach it like from a smart perspective, but also be willing and able to flex and know that you don't know everything. And my number one piece of advice for anybody, specifically in design, but probably is, I think that this is valid anywhere, regardless of whether or not you're a business owner or starting a new business or starting your career or whatever, always be learning. Like, allow yourself to continue to learn and grow, because I got news for you.
You don't know it all. It's like,
and everything is changing so much more rapidly than it ever did before. So if you're not willing to continually learn what's new and upcoming and what's happening,
you fall behind. You're missing out.
You're missing out on opportunities. You're going to be left in the dust, and nobody wants that for themselves. So I don't know if that answered your question, but that's what
I think it's very true. I also think, don't minimize yourself in what you bring to the table. And I think that is something that,
you don't undersell yourself.
I mean, you need to be realistic, right? Like, we weren't walking into meetings on the first day like, oh, lucky you, who's here. But I do think that you have to have, if you have enough of a passion for what you're doing and enough of a background in what you're doing that you're going to take that leap and try to go out on your own, then you need to have something to say about it that you believe in and you're confident in. And you need to have a work ethic to back that up. I think that's really important. But you can't, I think it's very easy to be intimidated. It's very easy to be intimidated when you're starting out and they're like, oh, there's all these people out here and they've been doing it for years and I don't know. I think that's doubly true for women. Especially depending on the industry that you're dealing with. So, I think you have to remember that sometimes and be intentional about reminding yourself, like, no, wait, I'm here for a reason. Right. I have something of value to bring to this equation.
Have a seat at the table. Yeah, I think there, kind of to your point, it's value yourself. Nobody's going to value you if you don't value yourself.
Right.
If you know your value and you know your worth and you live up to that, then, nobody can tell you otherwise.
So I kind of talked to you about like passion, right? Having passion for, what you do. So obviously, right, we're very passionate about creativity here. And, for those who don't know, outside of their office, they have a little wooden frame that says live creatively. How does that really, how does that motto really drive, your approach to projects and everything that you do? Like, what kind of guiding principle, do you guys have with that?
I think Merissa can probably give you a very eloquent speech on creativity and the power of it. As a prelude to that, I will just say that, I think one of the things that has always set us apart and is one of the reasons why we decided to do what we decided to do is that we wanted to be able to do something that was truly creative, that was different from, it's not this one size fits all sort of, which I think you see a lot of in the marketing arena, right? Because there are very practical and efficient ways to like make things run and make templates and plug 50 different clients into the same template. And that was never what we wanted to do. We always wanted to do something that was
Specific
creative and unique, but that was really tailored to an individual client, to an individual situation. That authenticity was always there. And so I think that's always been important to us from the beginning. And now Marissa's speech.
Yeah, it's great because she's so good with words that she takes them.
She's like, next.
Yeah, you may have heard this one before. No, I think passion is huge, specifically, being a visual person. I think it's so important to take that drive that you have for what you do and for your design skills and all of that and put it into the work that you're doing for others. And if you, can harness your passion to tell somebody else's story, like that's huge. Not everybody can do that. A lot of people, a lot of artists specifically, like they make art for themselves because it speaks to them and they're telling their truth and all of this. But when you can actually attach somebody else's story and create something for visually that speaks to them and is based on their story and is authentic to them, like that's kind of changes the game. So I think having that ability to and having a passion to create that will just create much better end product for your client or for anybody.
So going back to what you said previously, y'all's original vision with Clementine, how do you stay true to that while also trying to adapt to an evolving industry?
Tough question, Caroline.
I got the fun ones out of the way
Caroline
She
first.
comes with the hard hitters.
Yeah, all right.
I'm
Okay.
gonna warm you up first.
Well, I'll come
Pearl's
back.
all like, pretty colors. Yeah.
Now.
Is this where I need the tissues? So we talk about this all the time. And for anybody that's heard any of our other podcasts or videos, you'll have heard this word. Authenticity is huge with us. And I think that's probably the number one thing that has carried through everything that we've done since day one to day now. It's all about, like I said, telling that authentic story and also being authentic to who we are, because we can just as easily say no to projects or work that we don't believe in. And we've done it before. And it's important for us to maintain our own standards for ourselves and for our company to make sure that we're aligning with the path that we want to be on and staying true to who we are at our core.
I also think that there's something there about, being true to those values and what it is that we want to deliver to clients. And not, we're not necessarily the kind of agency that specializes, there's agencies that specialize in a platform or a thing, right? Like I build this kind of website, or we specialize in Facebook, we manage Facebook accounts, when our focus has always been more on that storytelling aspect. And so that allows you, I think, to maintain that focus, but be able to adapt to whatever the platforms or tools or trends or, other things as they come along. You can kind of, you can ride that wave a little bit as long as you can keep it pointed at the same general goal,
How do you think client relationships have shaped the trajectory of Clementine?
I think we've been incredibly lucky,
Yeah.
and fortunate and blessed in many of the client relationships that we have. We, like I said, we had 3 clients on day one that signed up with us before we were even out the door of our previous job and were a real thing. So I don't even know who they were hiring. It was just okay.
We didn't even have a name yet.
We didn't. We're like, we'll just, I need to send someone a bill. Who are
Well,
we?
they all say, I want to work with Jennifer. Send me to Jennifer.
So we, but those are long-term relationships that, those are all people that we still work with today. Actually, all three of those from the beginning are still people that we're in contact with today. And we have a lot of stories like that, I think. I mean, we have incredible longevity in our client roster. I think because, we do try to really form partnerships with clients who value the same things, who value the same kind of work, so that there's really a long-term partnership and a collaborative approach to that. And we've been incredibly fortunate to have some of these folks that have been with us and have believed in us from, the time that it was the two of us taking off to our living room, and we'll be like, we will figure out as soon as we have a name, we will send you an invoice, which is not necessarily the most confidence-inspiring thing, but hey.
They believed in us, and that's what counts.
See, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
we showed
y'all's
up.
past work showed for itself your expertise. I mean, just to be able to trust you guys straight out the gate before even truly being established.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, and and I mean, just knowing too, like how we've grown from that 3 to 85, and they stay signed on. Like
85 clients on roster. Is that what
85.
Holy
That's
cow.
crazy.
Yeah. So it's
Thank you.
Speaks for itself.
I know who you are.
And also, I'm tired.
You didn't hear that. We'll cut it out. Ambition.
Can edit that part.
So, when you look back over the last 10 years, are there risks that you are glad that you especially took?
Day one.
Day one is a big one. Yeah. That's like
That took a lot of, I mean, honestly, it took a lot of thought and like.
Yeah, how did we even get there? I mean, you look back at what happened and.
Because I'm thinking too, I mean, just like in terms of other businesses, right? You go in with a business plan or a strategy, but it's like, did you guys have a good bit like banked and saved, or was it just like, let's roll? Because I mean, that I feel like even adds more risk when you don't have like another leg to like fall on.
Zero.
Yeah.
My husband was so supportive. I'm pretty sure he was the one that like forced me over the edge because I was teeter-tottering.
I thought it was
Yeah.
because I invited you out for margaritas.
I mean, that always helps.
That
That does help. Take note. But he was so supportive and said, I think this is great. I think you should do it. Like, he didn't even hesitate. And I came home like, I'm not sure.
You sure? You sure I shouldn't hesitate?
Jennifer said we should maybe. But I am grateful to him for doing that. And like,
Shout out
and,
Miles.
I mean, yeah, shout out Miles Davis. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, he picked up a part-time job just to get us over
That's awesome.
the hump so that I was able to jumpstart this. And, we were very fortunate in a
Having
couple
that
of
good
months.
support
We were
system.
able to like actually start feeling like we had a paying job.
Feeling like we could pay ourselves at least something.
Yeah.
A little something.
A little livable wage.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the first big risk that started all those that would follow. I think, making the leap to expand and have a team, that was something that I, no offense to those of you here, but we agonized over at the beginning. Not because we didn't want to have a team, but because
It's a risk.
It's a huge risk. But when you started out, it was our risk.
Right.
Well, and Miles and Peter, they got to come along for the ride. But as you start to talk about hiring on a team, then it's like, okay, well now you have other people who are like counting on you to,
You got to pay their bills.
make payroll.
Yeah.
And so it adds a whole other layer, and we wanted to be so sure that we were in a good spot to support that before we made that leap. And so it was something that we like hemmed and hawed on for a long time and considered and modeled, and there were spreadsheets and there were whiteboards, and like we figured out all of the things like, oh well, if we can do this, then we'll feel good about it, and then we would do that and think, but I think maybe we should do this just to be sure. So that was a step that I think was felt like a big leap.
Yeah.
Do you guys still feel that way? Like, still trying to grow internally? I mean, we've grown to a good little bunch here. So it's like, do you still, now that we've got so many under your belt, do you still kind of have that, like, risk aversion? Like, should we add another? Or is it like, okay, we need to add another? Like, how do you approach that now as you continue to grow?
We think very carefully about any headcount that we add to this team because we want to be very intentional about what we're doing. And again, because, you know, anybody that we bring in here as a team member, we feel like we have a responsibility to be able to, you know, to have that business, maintain that business. And so we take it very seriously. That said, I think the team and, you know, the bunch that we have now, you know, has just been one of the greatest blessings along the way as well. Like, it's something we never would have imagined being able to do the things that we are able to do today with the team that we have. And so I'm really grateful for everybody who, you know, came along, and anybody who has spent a single day working on behalf of Clementine, I'm so grateful to, because that was putting a lot of trust and belief in us as well.
Likewise, I mean, you trusted all of us. It turned out well. It turned out well.
We need the tissue.
That's
That's what the cocktails are for, people.
I know. That's why there's bourbon on this episode.
So Clementine has received a lot of awards and recognition over the years. Is there one that you guys are the most proud of?
That's
I mean,
good.
there's packaging, there's
so
web,
many.
there's logos.
I am really proud of the One Museum Place brochure
That was such a
package.
Cool piece. Yeah.
It was a luxury package. It's on our
I
portfolio.
was literally about to say, it's on our portfolio if you haven't seen it.
Check it out on our website.
But we won an American Packaging Design Award for that. And that was,
Early on.
that was
too.
2018.
17 or 18?
18.
One of the two.
We talked about it today.
Yeah.
But I loved that piece and the creation talking about passion. I mean, I love creating tangible things because I'm on a computer all day.
Yeah.
So it's great to be able to see it
see
on
it,
the
feel
other
it,
side.
yeah.
And like what I've done on this computer comes out of a printing press, and you know, it's this flat sheet of paper, and then it goes through this machine, and it's got all these things. And you know, we put all the bells and the whistles on this piece, and I never get the opportunity to do that. So when I get the opportunity to do it, like, I'm going to do it right. And I was so excited to see that piece, and I'm really proud of it today still. It's just a really cool
It is.
piece.
It's an amazing piece.
And it was great to be recognized for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to be recognized for all of the work that we've done.
Yeah.
There are a lot of projects I'm really proud of that we've done,
And
regardless of whether or not they got awards. But
Let's say usually I think our favorite award is the last one, because we get excited every time that we get any kind of recognition for that. But one that stands out to me would be the sales environment design
that was my other
for
one.
Pratt Stacks. That I think is really cool, because that environment design was so outside the box from what anyone else was doing, or from what is usually recognized in that genre. So I was really proud of that, because we did something like completely different, and it obviously resonated really well. So
Yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorite
yeah,
projects.
that's fantastic.
So, as two women, you're a women-owned business.
We are?
How do you hope?
You
How-
don't say. Don't get it.
How do you hope that Clementine's story empowers women and women entrepreneurs in like their creative work and future business embarkments?
Oh my gosh, that's such a hard question.
Just go for it.
Yeah, I think that's really the moral of the story. One, I think it's an interesting thing to sit in this chair after 10 years and have someone ask you a question like that. Because when we started out, we were like, you know, oh, I hope this works. And, you know, you're looking to those people who have been successful in the field, and so it's strange to have someone cast you in that role. But I do think it's, you know, you just, if it's something that you really believe in and you have that ability, then, you know, it kind of along the same lines as don't minimize yourself. Like, you can do it. You can be successful. I think there are challenges for women in particular as business owners. Like, you're going to run into those issues. But it's not going to be the overwhelming majority of what you run into. So you just kind of have to, I think, be able to to take some of those with a grain of salt and stay focused on what it is that you want to do. You know.
Yeah, I am all for women-owned, women-led. I mean, to think of all of the work, this is going to make me cry. All of the work that women have done. All of the work that women have done over the course of history to get us to the point where we're able to actually own and run our own business and be respected in our field, which, you know, what we do and the industries that we work in, a lot of them are male dominated. So to be able to be respected in that space and to claim our space in that space is huge. And I don't take that for granted.
No.
And I am grateful for every woman who has been in that place before and who has led to this point where we're able to stand here and take advantage of all of the work that they put into it and all of the sacrifices that they put into it. And I talk to people still today that like don't have that same mindset, and they're kind of living in this different world where like this isn't normal to them.
Right.
And it breaks my heart. Not just for me.
Yeah.
I can get past that. But for everybody else, you know, my nieces and everybody else who's younger that's coming up, like they need to know that they can do this, that they can do whatever they want to do. And they should be able to be given that opportunity. So that's my speech on
I think y'all have been a great example of that. Your niece has got a lot to look up to there.
Yes, for sure. What would you say representation and leadership as women in business mean to you personally?
That's such a question.
Save those for her. Don't worry, I'm coming back soon.
I know. What's your favorite color question from Coral? We need one of those. You know, I think that's interesting. I always think about things, obviously, through the lens of the background that I came from and the experience that I came from. And that is starting out in, as Merissa said, an extremely male-dominated industry, an extremely male-dominated environment. And, you know, where that I was one of only 2 females, I think, on executive committee in terms of leadership at the company that I worked at before we started this whole shindig. And so it was something that you were always aware of, that you always felt very, you know, it was always kind of sitting there next to you when you're in that room with 30 people and that, you know. But also I think we've been very fortunate to have worked with some really incredible female leaders who've set an example in the field, who, as you said, you know, did some of the work, I think. And I think it's incredibly important for us to be able to stand strong on that and to be able to walk into a room or a meeting or whatever and feel like we belong there and, you know, that you have as much to bring to the table as anybody else does. And again, not to be minimized because like, oh, this is the girls that make pretty things, you know, over in the corner.
She means business people.
Kind of. I don't know how
things.
successful I am at protecting that. But
We make pretty things, but we do it
Yes.
strategically and with purpose.
they're pretty smart.
Is there anything else, advice-wise, that you would give women that are thinking about starting their own business or wanting to go off on their own? Anything that you haven't said?
Again, value yourself and know that you have something to provide for other people. And I am just as supportive as well, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
I'm just as supportive of men as I am of women. I think that we all should play on equal ground. I don't think anybody should have a one-up on somebody else. I just also know the history has been that we haven't been able to play on equal ground until, you know, depending on where you're at. But I'm grateful to be here. and I'm grateful for all of the support that we've had along the way.
Yeah.
And I hope that women can, like, every woman can know her worth and come to the table with confidence and knowing that she has something of value to provide, and then live up to that. I think everybody should do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's just a good way to live.
Yeah, I was going to say,
But-
just like knowing your value and your worth. I mean, that can go so
Yeah.
far, like even outside of business.
But I think also from a business perspective,
Yeah.
you know, I would just say, you can't be easily discouraged. You know, don't be discouraged because, you know, there's always going to be ups and downs. There's always going to be ebbs and flows. You have to have an eye on what your goal is from a big picture perspective, and don't let those fluctuations, whether it's normal market or a project that goes wrong or you know, a naysayer that you may meet, don't let them knock you off course if you know where you're headed.
That's good advice.
I love that.
So I'd say too, I mean, we kind of touched on a little bit earlier about like what it's been like growing the team from day one, but
You're
what
supposed to ask about favorite color.
Hey man, we're getting back to lightheartedness, okay? I mean, the walls do tell a story. They paint a picture. But, you know, what do you really hope that Clementine's impact is to everyone that works here?
You look like you have something percolating, so I'm gonna let you go first.
I hope that everybody here can live up to the best quality of who they are. You know, do your best work here. Come with your best ideas. Show up and show out. Like, we are open to thinking outside the box. That's what we do. So I love when people can speak their mind in a way that, you know, they come to the table with ideas, they come to the table with concepts and thoughts, and then let's talk through it, let's work through it. If it's a good fit, let's move forward. If it's not, maybe let's put it on the table for a later time. But I don't want anybody to ever feel discouraged from having an opinion and being able to have an idea or a thought
Yeah.
that can help us progress as a company and progress our thoughts, progress how we work, what we do.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, well, first of all, I already said, I think, you know, I'm incredibly grateful to everybody on our team, past and present, anybody who's ever spent their time or effort, you know, working on this with us. I'm incredibly grateful for every minute that's been spent, you know, and I hope that anybody here on the team knows that, you know, kind of on the same line you were talking about, though, but to trust in the value that you're bringing to the team, and to know that we are very genuine when we say we want to hear it. You know, I mean, I think every single person that we have ever hired, present or past, we hired for a reason. You know, we have always been very intentional about that, and you know, that always means there's nobody here that we didn't see something in that interview process that we thought, oh, that would bring something amazing to our team. You know, and so I think we just want people to be able to trust us enough and trust themselves enough to really bring that to fruition.
And I'd say too, I mean, just as like a team member, right? I've kind of heard through and through that, you know, everybody.
Oh, wait, do you work here?
I know what I'm just the host. I'm just the host today. What? But no, I mean, I just think that all of us, you know, genuinely are able to wake up and actually come to work excited to like see each other and, you know, get to create and do new things and new projects. And, you know, just from the boss's perspective, right? Like, what would you say
There
really
goes that word again.
the bosses? What do you think really helps like establish a good company culture for, you know, businesses that are already out there and existing, and maybe they want to make their company culture better and more open, or maybe it's someone who's starting a new business? Like, what, you know, precedences and things would you kind of set to like have that, you know, good environment?
Yeah.
I think having an open communication with your team is really important. And having them feel like you're available to have that communication, I think is really important.
And being able to build enough trust that you can have, a level of honesty and transparency with people on the team. I mean, I think we try to be very upfront with people on the team, not in an aggressive way.
Yeah.
But, we try to be very clear. Maybe that's a better word.
Yeah.
We try to be very clear in terms of, what we're trying to do and, what we're trying to deliver. And, we hope that everybody is able to trust us enough to say what they need to say in response and to bring their perspectives to the table. That's, that's why we're all here.
Yeah.
But I think that, it is interesting when you talk about kind of building a company culture, because I think, a group takes on a life of its own.
Yeah.
So there are certain things that I think we have tried to cultivate, but I think a lot of it is about the
Being
people
specific with
that
who
you
you hire.
hire. But also the expectations about culture that are set when you hire someone, because I think a lot of those dynamics are kind of established like when you walk in the door. You start in a job and it takes a few days for you to get a feel for like, oh, I'm not gonna go by there now. Or, whatever. And so I think that setting those expectations up front, which we've tried to do, I think even in the interview process, to say, hey, like these are the things that we value, these are the kinds of work that we want to do, and find people who are aligned around that. And then, you end up with a group of fairly, again, a group that shares some kind of common foundation, even though this is a group that has a lot of diverse skills and specialties and expertise and all work in different ways. There's a commonality that underlies everyone, I think, in terms of, the value, the work ethic, the whatever those things may be, and the kind of creativity that we hope to produce here. So I think that gives you that common ground. And then, I don't know, you guys
Thankfully you hired well and we all meshed really well together.
You guys,
so.
I'll say, we have a really great team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't we?
We have an amazing team.
And I think that's kind of what helped too. I mean, just as outside looking in, but not that we did a full panel or anything crazy, but just being able to have a few people in there to fill out and meet the new person that's coming in. I mean, I think that was really beneficial too, to get the feel of the personality and kind of see how well they'll mesh with everyone
cultural
else.
fit.
Yeah, I think, and you're talking about in the interview process, having other people on the team sit in. I think the other thing that does is allow someone who's interviewing here maybe the opportunity to ask some questions that they wouldn't ask us.
Yeah, they do step out. They do step out at one point to let them get to know the team.
But
Don't give away all of
They
our
should be able to ask us. They should be able to ask us.
Yeah.
But particularly in an interview scenario, I think that it allows people to maybe, hopefully, to relax a little bit and have a little bit more of a conversation and get a sense of what it's going to be like to be here on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And whether that's something I want to do or not.
So kind of looking at too, I mean, we've been giving a lot of advice, right, to other people out there. If you could look back and give yourself one piece of advice from the start, what would it be?
Oh my God.
Oh, how the turntables.
Yeah, right?
Don't take that one job. No.
Don't
You know which
answer-
one I'm talking
Don't
about.
answer that phone call.
No.
They might be looking into you now.
No, I mean, I don't know.
Do you have any regrets?
I don't have a lot of regrets. I do think, obviously there are things that did not go as planned or did not go as we would have hoped that they would go. But I think all of them end up being valuable in the end. We've learned something from every one of those scenarios that we've been through that we've been able to apply going forward. So I wouldn't necessarily go back and, recast a path where we remove all of those obstacles, because I don't think we necessarily would have gotten to the same place that we are now. In terms of day one, I don't know. Ask Merissa sooner. Maybe that's the answer.
Well, I think, too, I mean, we've kind of spent a lot of this podcast, right, like talking about our 10 years and our growth. But I mean, as we kind of are looking forward and looking ahead, I mean, what excites you most about what's to come?
I feel like there's still more growth to come. I feel like we're growing in our services as well, which I'm really excited about because there are some areas, and I think I said this in our 5-year anniversary.
Like we said,
that
takes time.
Yeah.
That I was like, somebody asked like what you see on the horizon or what's possible for the future, and I think that's where we're headed right now.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. Not that there was a time frame on it back then,
Right.
but I see it closer on the horizon, and it's very exciting. I love being able to kind of expand what we do as long as we maintain our high quality and the creativity, and really being able to bring all of that to all of our brands and companies that we work with. And there's some really exciting little things happening in the background that let's, fingers crossed, we're going to see it through to the finish line. But I'm excited about a couple things that are on the horizon
That she's
I
not
can't talk
telling.
about.
No, but I do think that that's true, that we have reached a point where, we do have a strong foundation set. And so we can focus more on the kinds of work, the type of work that we want to do, and really elevating, the things that we do and the things that we want to do. So I hope it just becomes an even fuller and richer version of what we're able to do every year.
Yeah. Well, I definitely, looking back at just the 10 years and the 4 I've been here, I mean, it's been really exciting just to see the kind of different industries and services we've grown to and the team growing. And so looking towards the next 10 years, I mean, it's going to be really exciting. So
Yes.
looking forward to that. But, as we know, right, at the end of every episode, we like to do a little bit of rapid fire questions. This is one they've all been waiting for, people.
Am I to understand that Coral wrote the rapid fire?
I mean, we did, it was a team effort.
You'll know which one.
I need to know how afraid to be before we launch into this exercise.
No pressure.
Okay, wait, bourbon first.
Yeah, you might want that. But for those of you who
How are
don't
we doing
know,
this, back and
back
forth,
and
or-
forth.
All
I mean,
right.
y'all can both answer, but we're going to be going back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all each have to answer.
Yeah, each have to answer.
Let's
All
try
right.
to keep it as rapid as we
Yeah.
can.
Oh, okay. And actually
Rapid
rapid
fire.
Yeah, because none of our rapid fires have turned out very rapid.
They're not rapid.
All right, so coming from a social media manager, what's your favorite social platform?
Ooh, IG.
Instagram.
All right.
Go-to karaoke song.
Something in the Cyndi Lauper catalog.
Oh, that's good.
Generally speaking, yes.
I've only sang it twice at karaoke, and one was Lisa Loeb,
All right.
That's good.
right? And the other was Wilson Phillips.
Hey,
I like some Wilson.
That's a
Phillips.
good
That's
one.
a good one. That's a good karaoke song.
All right, I did one specifically because I know you'd really appreciate it. What font matches your personality?
Ooh.
Oh, God. I have to name a font? I don't know.
I was like, all I know is Arial, Times New Roman, and Pop It.
I'm like,
So maybe
I'm
this is
gonna
the
say
first one.
Helvetica because it's one of our fonts and I
Dang,
know the
girl.
name. I got nothing. I don't know.
That's not fair. You're not allowed to steal mine.
Helvetica.
It's
rapid fire. You gotta be rapid.
Helvetica new.
Oh, all right.
But I mean, Adobe fonts and Google fonts have blown this out of the water, so like there's way too many to tell.
Rapid fire, Marissa. Rapid fire. Yeah.
I'll stick with Helvetica because it's a classic.
There you go.
It's timeless.
If you could choose one cocktail to end the workday with, what would it be?
I mean,
Drinking
this is
it.
pretty darn good. Yeah.
The one in my hand.
Yeah. She's like, we did this intentionally, people.
The one being served to me. Yeah.
All right, if you could only live in one environment, city, beach, mountains, what's it going to be?
Oh, that's tough.
Beach.
City overlooking the mountains on one side and beach on the other.
Boom. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
That's what you call high aspirations.
I
my friend.
do not limit myself.
Yeah, she's like, penthouse suite.
Skydiving or shark cave diving?
Ooh,
Shark cage, 100%.
skydiving.
If anyone ever tells you that I jumped out of an airplane voluntarily, they are lying.
She was pushed.
Yes. Save yourself. Call the police. No.
All right, any hidden talents we're not aware of?
I have no talents.
Ooh.
I have no talent.
I taught myself how to moonwalk.
Ooh. Now we would show you guys, but the cameras are set up.
We'll have to do that later.
So
Behind the
fantastic.
scenes.
We're going to get a
Later.
separate clip of that for
Yes.
later. That's amazing.
Does pineapple belong on pizza? Yes or no?
No.
Well, what the
That
heck?
is emphatic. And also,
Definitely a yes. All right, fun one. Biggie Smalls or Tupac?
Tupac.
I abstain due to a tragic lack of knowledge.
We'll go Biggie so they each get one. All right,
Let's go.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
I love both, but I'll go cats just to be contrary.
All right, now one up your alley. Fiction or nonfiction?
Oh, it really depends on the time. I'm in a nonfiction run right now.
Books. I'm talking books.
See, me, I'm like, don't
Marissa,
pass me
words.
one.
Well, I mean, there's fictional movies and non-fictional movies.
Yeah.
Non-fiction books.
Okay. What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Chicken.
The egg.
If you could only eat one food the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh, Mexican.
Mexican. Yeah.
Which maybe margaritas should be the answer to the end of the day.
Told you.
Okay, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
We always ask this, and I've never thought about it.
I'd like to be able to read people's minds.
Ooh, I don't. No,
As long as you can turn it off at one point.
Yes. As long as you can turn it on and off. I'm assuming I can control my superpower. But I
I
would
don't know.
like to be able to
I
read
think
minds.
flying's pretty cool. I'd probably fly around a little bit.
All right, should toilet paper be hung over or under?
Over.
Over.
Thank you.
What? How is
We're
that
all
even
on
a
the
question?
same page here. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Yeah, I used to be a night owl, but now I have transformed into an early bird thanks to
Child.
thanks to a child.
Is it acceptable to wear socks with sandals?
No. No.
Not some. I mean, if you're trying to make a statement, then I'm all for it. But if you're just going with the flow and that's what feels right,
Question.
it doesn't look great.
No. I grew up watching Winter Vacationers at the beach. No. The answer's no.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. Is water wet?
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's its essence.
Yes. That's good. That's
The
a good way to
essence-
put it. The,
the
essence,
essence
of
of
water
water.
is wet. I
This
like
is my kumbaya moment.
it. Sounds like some kind of meditation.
Exactly.
For the essence.
It's my mantra.
Yeah.
All right, I
like it.
gotta be very specific with this.
Oh.
Who would win in a fight? A duck-sized horse or horse-sized duck? I'll repeat that. A duck-sized horse or a horse-sized duck?
I'm gonna go with the horse-sized
I'm
duck.
going horse-sized duck as well.
That's a really big beak.
And feet. I'm picturing big, flabby feet that could take care of business.
They'll at least slap you around a little bit.
That's what I said too. I was like, dang, they'd be actually kind of like violent.
I mean, think about Donald Duck. He gets really angry.
He
Think
has
about
anger
him being
management
horse-sized.
issues,
True.
right? If he was
True.
horse-sized, that would be really scary.
Okay, last one. If you could only hop like a bunny or squawk like a parrot, what would it be?
Rest of your life, not like limited to.
Oh. Hop like a bunny
gonna
or
hop like a
squawk
bunny.
like a parrot.
Just hopping
That
on
sounds
into
like an
meetings.
amazing workout, and maybe I could finally do something consistent.
That's a really good point. I'm with her.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes our rapid fire questions.
That was interesting. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
I think we should do a whole podcast of just rapid fires.
No, we were
That's
having the
fun.
time of our lives writing these. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna throw one in there too that we didn't plan. Is hot dog a sandwich? We were talking about that too.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I don't think so, no.
No. There it is, folks.
you
We
heard
have
it here
answered
first.
all the great questions of the age.
So we just want to say that concludes our lovely 10-year Inspired by podcast.
Love it.
We had such a great time being able to talk to you both and celebrate. So if you liked what you heard, make sure to click the like button and subscribe. And if you want to follow more, check out all of our social medias at Clementine Creative Agency. And there you have it.
Thanks
It was
for
a
the
great
Thanks
chat,
for the
folks.
anniversary party.
Yes,
chat
happy
here.
10 years.
Cheers
ladies.
to 10, baby.